Okay, welcome guys. So normally I would be decorating with you, and I probably will a little bit in this video, but I recorded this whole 41-minute video and there was no mic. So I am checking now, and the mic is moving on OBS. Welcome to the video. Lessons are learned, frustrations were felt. So anyway, this video is called Don't Chase Them. Don't chase them. Okay, now why am I talking about this? So when you chase somebody, you are automatically doing a negative thing with your energy. Okay. Now, when somebody doesn't want to be with you, right? They've gotten to the point in a relationship where they've deemed it necessary to put space in between you, right? So attraction, they want to be close to you, right? Obviously, when they're not attracted, they want space from you. Now, they want to experience their own energy again. They want to be on their own, right? So you should not chase them, and this is why. You're automatically pedestalizing them. You're prioritizing their energy over yours. You're prioritizing them over you in your own life and in your own individual happiness, right? So you want to be completely flipping that on its head, and you want to be focused on yourself and your goals, your happiness, etc. So this is what happens when you don't value your own energy. Your self-worth is in the toilet, right? So what ends up happening, let me slide back up here, is you are doing more of this when you chase, right? Instead of more actions that bring this. So when you chase somebody and you keep telling them that they are worth a whole lot more than you, they're going to want a whole lot more space. But when you walk away, the chances, doesn't happen every single time, but this can be applied to everything. Okay. This can be applied to sales. This can be applied to everything, right? They want to be that will bring them closer to you. It doesn't mean that they want to get back together with you. A lot of people screw this part up, so they never even experience this. But when you give them the space that they need, they're going to think about you more often. The chances are a lot higher than when you're chasing and pursuing. So you need to start doing things that will bring her closer to you. So do not chase them. That means, because if you do, they get pedestalized, and it's because you don't value your own energy, I should say, not your old energy. So why does this happen, right? Usually it's because of an old story, an old belief system. Okay. So there's things going on in your head and in your body. Well, your head, but your body believes it. And this usually is driven by fear. Okay. So let's say, for example, and this is really common, there's a guy who's insecure, and his insecurity is triggered by his girl or ex-girl, whatever, his girl when they're in a relationship, actually, not texting him back in the manner or speed that he deems necessary. So this comes from when he was in a relationship beforehand, and say he tried to text her and she didn't message him back, and then she was cheating on him the whole time. Or he sees he's connecting, not texting, with some sort of negative outcome, when in fact she's just living her life. She's hanging out with her friends or hanging out with her family, right? I've seen guys literally in my coaching freak out because the girl isn't texting him back. And I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing, right? And it's because, again, okay, he's putting her on a pedestal. She needs, again, so what does that kind of energy want? What is that energy communicating, right? That he values her more than himself. He's making himself look stupid, and she's going to want to, that's a point for space, right? So an attractive thing to do, right, is to just stick to the fundamentals, which is set dates, right? When you set dates and have a great date, right? That's going to be a point for being close. And then you give her proper space in between dates. You let her wonder about you. It's another point for being close. And then you set another date. Have another great date. End up in the bedroom. Another point for being close. Now, let's say you get into an argument with this girl. Okay. You freak out, you lose your shit. That's a point for being for space. So there's actually an invisible points system being followed here, right? And this is what a good relationship will generally look like. Okay? Right? Something like this, where the positivity is much better than the negativity, right? So, but what happens over time is guys end up doing a lot more of this. And here's the thing about negative energy. It's much stickier. It's easier to remember. It stands out. It's louder. So when you really freak out, sometimes it's 3 points. And when you have one really, really good date, sometimes it's still just 1 point. So the point is you want to maintain a great energy because it's not always going to drive up. It's not always going to be an increase. Sometimes it's just maintenance, right? So that's the idea behind that. So when you start valuing your own energy, you start focusing on your own needs and your own goals and your own wants, then you're going to start killing off all of these stories that you have going on in your head, right? So there's a lot of mess here. So let me just get rid of some of this so it's nice and clear so you guys aren't fucking confused. So, okay, let me get rid of this. So killing the old story, right? Let's do this. So killing the old story. So to do this, you need to understand what do I need to do to get rid of old beliefs? What do I need to do to get rid of old ways of thinking? Okay, you need to develop a new identity. Your brain has neuroplasticity, right? So basically, you can change the way that your brain is wired. And how do you do that, right? Well, you have to take specific actions, right? So this is so when you have thoughts, right? Those thoughts lead to actions, and then actions lead to results. And certain results over time are going to develop your new identity, right? Now, it doesn't always have to be a result-driven thing. It doesn't always have to be. It's just could be specific action. It's more actions than results, really. But then when you get results, you're going to solidify that identity piece. So say, for example, you're like, I want to be in really, really good shape, right? You're taking the right actions, but you might not have the results yet. So the belief isn't solid yet. It's more of a gaseous form, okay? Or a liquid form. But solid beliefs are beliefs that people usually have a really hard time letting go of. So developing a new identity is the key to killing your old stories. And that comes from having an open mind, which I will discuss a little bit later. So a lot of people externalize happiness. Okay, that's why everyone wants their ex back immediately. How do I get my ex back? How do I get my ex back, right? And then they think that girl is going to bring them happiness, even though the relationship was most likely not that good for quite some time. Now, that doesn't apply to everybody. I just did a coaching call with a guy who had some negativity going on for a very short amount of time, but it was also a short relationship too. So you need to get to a point where you internalize your happiness. And how do you do that? It comes back to thoughts, actions, and results. So what are your goals? Now, I know I talk a lot about money, guys, and I'm going to try to keep focused on the things that matter for you guys. But if it's money, relationships, health goals, whatever it is, you have to go in the directions of what you want. Everybody wants something, right? So when you get closer to those goals, this is going to go up. Whoops. This is going to go up and this is going to go down. Okay. This is why wealthy people will say to you, money doesn't buy happiness, because your happiness comes from your internal. A lot of wealthy people they're able to buy everything they ever really wanted. But when they have families, the family part is the real juice to their life now. Seeing things, traveling, really working on something that really means something to you is what will bring a lot of happiness for you, right? So the internal happiness meter will go up when you start working on first here. Your thoughts will create what you need to do to create, and then I need to take action on that. And then eventually you will get results from that action that will solidify your identity. So where do I want to go here? So this also helps with, so when you want to focus on your own energy, right? Okay. So intrusive thoughts actually come and hit you. So this is why you will think about your ex and you're like, I need to text her. Is there any reason? I hear this in every fucking coaching call. Is there any way that I can reach out to her? Is it like what can I do? Right? Because you have these thoughts about your ex constantly and you want to feel better about it. So you want to take an action and you're hoping that you can get a good result from it. Right? But right now that person desperately needs, your relationship needs space so that she can wonder about you. Right? So if it's going to work out, she's got to think it's a good idea. She needs space to even come to that conclusion. However, if the relationship was bad long enough, she's probably convinced that it's not a good idea anyway, right? So what happens is when you get these intrusive thoughts, and this is one of the most common things that happens to my students, is they're literally like, okay, how do I stop these thoughts? How do I stop wanting to text her, right? You need what's called a pattern interrupt. That's what this means, okay? So pattern, why is that still? Yeah. Pattern interrupt. Okay. PI. So pattern interrupts. So what do you do, right? So when you have a cycle of thoughts going on, your thoughts will be very closely tied to your emotions. And I have another thing about that somewhere. Feelings and thoughts right here. So when you have a thought about her, okay, it's going to have this cyclical pattern here. Okay. Now, what do you do about that? Well, what you need to do is called a pattern interrupt, and you need to get into your body. Okay. What's that mean? When you have a cycle of thoughts and it's just getting overwhelming, get into your body. So I want you guys in the gym twice a day. Okay. Why? I want you lifting and I want you running and really getting your heart beating and your lungs pumping, right? You want your lungs to be, I know they don't pump, but I want your lungs I want you to be heavily breathing. Okay. Because you're not going to be thinking about your ex when you're really trying to suck air. Okay. Seriously. I know that sounds funny, but it's going to be harder. You're not going to be sitting here going, I miss her so much. Right. You're literally going to be like, oh my God, I can't breathe right now because I'm so gassed. So that's what you want to be doing. You want to be doing that over and over and over again. And that's going to start helping to purge your feelings, and then your thoughts will calm down. Okay. And then eventually you'll be so tired from working out so much and just being so busy and doing things and focusing on your own energy, right? And focusing on what you can control, that you'll be so tired at the end of the day that you're going to actually be able to pass out and sleep. So this is how you control your thoughts. You control your thoughts by doing a pattern interrupt and then focusing on something that you can control. So what are things you can control? Well, obviously actions. And then those actions will again breed results. It is that simple, guys. So again, I want you in the gym every day, twice a day, right? And whatever other goal you have, a lot of guys want to make money, right? So that's why I talk about it a lot. But you can have that as a goal. You can have whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Focus on what you can control, because you cannot control what your ex is doing right now. And that's what you guys are trying to do. That is the biggest mistake that you guys are making. You're trying so hard to influence your ex's free will because you're trying so hard to be like, how do I get you back? Right. And really it's actually a taking kind of energy. Okay. You're trying to take back what's yours. Okay. So really you actually have to give to them. And you're like, all of you guys right now are going, how the fuck do I give to my ex, Kyle? You give space. Okay. That's what you're giving them. You're giving her space. Okay. See, when you're trying to get her back, again, you're putting her up on a pedestal and you're trying to smother her. So here's an analogy for how a relationship is supposed to work. Okay. So let's say this is a relationship. Okay. Now a relationship is built from, it's a fire analogy. So say you have, a bonfire going on. So what do you need is a spark, right? Which when you and her meet each other, she's attracted to you. So there's a spark there. Okay. And then you have wood, and then oxygen. Okay. So the spark is already there. So you guys don't really need to worry about that. But the spark dies off when attraction starts going down. So if you think of a relationship like a burning fire, when you see her in person, that's the wood. Okay. So you're basically putting wood onto the fire. Now, if you don't see her enough, there's not enough wood, fire's out, right? If you see her too much, you smother the fire. Okay. So, it's just the flame will die out. Now, if you put too much wood on a fire, just imagine that the wood turns wet. Okay. So, but the wood, so when you see her and you set dates, so setting dates is the wood. Okay. Space is the oxygen. Imagine you taking like a leaf. So when you do space correctly, it's like taking a leaf blower to your fire. Okay. And it's just hot. So, and it's burning hot. Now, eventually, right? Because fires are not eternal, right? They eventually will die. It needs a source of energy, right? So when attraction falls, the spark dies. Okay. So you have to constantly put wood on the fire, but you can't do it too much. It needs to be consistent over time. Now, oxygen will breathe. So space will help put a lot of oxygen onto the relationship. So that's why I called it the perfect dating cycle. It's on my channel if you guys want to look it up. But you set a date, right? And then you have date. Okay. So have a great time. Give space. Okay. That's it. That is how you date people properly. Okay. That's what will keep a relationship sexy. So here's one thing that guys don't do. They don't give enough space. This is the main issue because of texting. Okay. Guys have no idea how to control themselves when they really like a girl. Okay. Oh my God. I need to see what she's up to, and it's fucking texting a girl too much. You have nothing to talk about when you guys see each other in person after you've been texting for a week. Right. And this comes back to fear. Why did I do that? Fear. Right. Wow. That's not how you spell fear. So fear. Okay. If I don't text her, she'll find somebody else. If I don't text her, she's going to lose interest in me. If I don't text her. And the thing is, they're doing the exact opposite of this. They're smothering her, right? So you need to inject space into your relationship. And now if something's missing, say you're going on a date and it's not a fun date. You're not interesting. Things about you. Then the spark is dying. Okay. She's not as interested in you as she thought she was. That happens too. So there are lots of things. So I'll talk about that in a second. So going back to this, you have to work on yourself and work on what you can control. Now let me back up here. So pockets of energy. So I want to talk about this because you'd have nothing to fear when you're really working on yourself and really working on your goals. There is nothing to fear. There's no like when you get back out there, for example, right? So I have my mastermind, and I'll talk about my mastermind at the end of this, but a lot of guys get back out there and go talk. So any skill, it doesn't matter what the skill is, but let's say it's women, right? And you want to learn how to set a lot of dates, get a lot of women. And it's not about getting a lot of women. Just maybe you want a really good relationship, and you haven't approached in a long time because you were maybe one of these guys that sat on dating apps for a really long time. So you get off dating apps, which I really highly suggest that you do. Okay. Get off dating apps. You start approaching in person. That's a scary thing to do when you haven't done that ever or in a long time, because you might be out of practice. So you're going to have a lot of fear. But then what I get my students to realize over the years is I get them to realize you have nothing to fear, because what is she going to say to you that's going to kill you, right? And what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So if you focus on just being authentic, being embodied in your energy, And just, it's almost like guys are so afraid to fuck up and be out of control that all you have to do is just say hi, right? And the thing is, this is why dating apps suck, because dating apps are, it's a superficial thing. It's all visually based, where you could go up to a woman in person and not even be 6 feet tall, because a lot of women filter by height, right? So you could meet a woman, you could be 5'8", right? You could meet a woman and she's 5'4", okay? She's obviously like most women are going to be shorter than you fellas, okay? Now, you could be really funny and really charming and really cool, and she might go, you know what, this guy's really interesting. I really like him. Okay. And women just want to feel safe and comfortable around you, which means you make them laugh. You make them, she has a good time. Right. Well, how is that supposed to happen on a dating app? Right. She's going to basically, it's almost like prejudging you. And this is why, if you work on yourself enough and you get into the right pockets of energy, because you've worked on your money, you've worked on your health, you've worked on your dating skills, you've worked on yourself a lot, right? You've worked on your pillars. Well, you're now in the right pocket of energy. Now, when you approach a woman, you're not full of fear. You're fun. You're the opposite of fear, right? So you're gonna have a lot more fun. So that's why you have to focus on what you can control. Instead of focusing on her energy and what she's doing, focus on your energy and what you need to improve, because it's going to change your energy. Okay. So let me talk about pockets of energy and make it more clear. Basically, you're in negative energy or you're in positive energy. Okay. So you guys know the Hawkins scale of consciousness that I bring up in almost every video. You're going to be in the orange, or you're going to be, in the green, blue, and purple, right? Now, green has a lot of bad in it as well, but blue and purple are all good, right? And courage is where you're trying to get back up to. Okay, so courage is what you're aiming for. So when you're coming out of a breakup, you have a lot of fear, a lot of apathy, a lot of shame, right? You might feel a lot of shame for acting a certain way. So you have to get back up into courage. Now, when you are out there and approaching again, so say your ex doesn't come back and you're ready to move forward with your life, and you're getting back out there. If you feel scared, you still haven't come out of that energetic level yet. But if you are courageous and you're excited to do it, you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to get back out there. Usually it's because you feel competent in that specific thing. Competence will usually breed confidence. And what do all women like? A confident man, right? So that's what I mean by pockets of energy. And I go very deep into this in the mastermind. However, the mastermind is still being built right now. So the cadence isn't perfect yet, and it will be, but it's going to take a little bit more time. So for people that want to get in, it is going to be a cheaper price for now until it's completely built and the curriculum is there and done. And then you have me as your coach at your fingertips to help you through all this crap. Because I don't know about you, but do you guys really want to read like 50 books and then master this? Or do you want to get to your goal faster? Do you want to take 5 years to get there? Or do you want to take 1 year? Right. And that's what the mastermind is going to be all about. So focus on what you can control, right? Focus on your own energy and focus on basically just getting rid of the negatives and improving the positives. Now, again, this all comes back to attracted and not attracted, right? So when you really focus on this, and basically all you're doing is adding, see if I can do it out of my pen. There we go. So basically, when all you're doing is, this, she's in love with you. She's totally in love with you here. Okay. And you just keep adding more and more and more. And sometimes just because women do this, sometimes they'll test you, right? And this is when they try to get you off your center to see if you are going to continue to stay this person. So they do this to see if you are a strong man. Okay. So that's why you have to get deep with your foundations, deep with your knowledge, so you have the right foundations and a strong foundation, right? Setting the right boundaries, making sure you're not a nice guy or being too nice. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a kind man, okay? There really isn't. The problem is when you don't have a spine and you let women walk all over you and you don't pass her tests, okay? She does not want you to actually be an asshole to her. She just wants you to stand up to her when she's acting like an idiot or acting like a fool. But good women are not going to do this. They're not going to put you down for no reason. They'll test you in more minimal ways. But when you fail those small tests, they'll get bigger, and that's when she'll start acting out. Anyway, so that is for later in the video. So taking and giving energy, I talked about that. So intensity, that was for basically when you're working out. I want you in an intense workout. So what this is so if you're getting back out there, right? Focusing on being aware, right? So aware of what's going on. And I completely forgot what this was, but attraction, right? And then vetting. Okay. I should just wrote it. And then relationship, right? I completely forgot what this was. This VW. Okay. Relationship. I think this is awareness, attraction. Okay. So basically awareness is kind of like, aware of your own energy, where you're at. I completely forgot what the fuck this is, but this is when you're back out there meeting a woman, right? So you're going to meet somebody and you're going to be attracted to them, and they're going to be attracted to you. You're going to feel that energy. You guys know what I'm talking about. Now, when you're getting into a relationship with somebody, you're going to be stuck in this phase for quite some time, the vetting phase. So, multiple dates, multiple months, many months, even sometimes a year and a bit of vetting, because it takes a long time to really get to know somebody. So you're going to be here for quite some time, and you're going to be looking for red flags. Now, here's the issue with guys. They ignore red flags way too fucking much. So look, when you are getting into a relationship and you go down to this, minimal, if any, no red flags. You want 0 red flags, okay? But what do guys do? Out of fear, right? Because of fear, they don't want to get this deep into a relationship, because guys can't control their emotions when they're in a relationship with a woman. So they lose their shit when they overtext, they overcomplicate everything, and they're not willing to let go of the relationship, even though there might be 3 red flags here or 5, right? It doesn't matter. It could be a high number of red flags, and the guy's like, and they have this sunk cost fallacy where they're like, I've spent a year with this girl, and it means that we have to stay together now because I've spent so much time. Guys get so attached to time because they're getting attached to the future, right? So if we look at this graph again, this is the present, future, past. So guys think that I've spent so much time with this person, right, that we need to stay together, and they're getting attached to the future. Oh, we spent so much time, so, I'm going to stick it out with this woman, thinking that it's a good thing to do. When really you just have to remain here. And is this person continuously a good fit for you? Are they a good relationship for you? Is this a good woman for you? Is this a good relationship? Like, is this working out? Right? So that's why you can't ignore red flags, because they always come back and bite you in the ass, because when the relationship gets out of the infatuation time, these red flags, because like I said, people can hide who they are for a really long time. These red flags don't go away. The kindness veil comes down, right? Where she's super kind to you. She laughs at every joke you crack. She compliments you. She does all the sexual things in bed that she always used to do. And then those all go away, because that's the fake part. And then the real part is this. Now, you want to meet a woman that doesn't have this issue, right? And you want to meet a woman who has very little problems going on in her life personally, because that default behavior, the kindness, the giving part of the relationship will always be there, right? People that are broken and they have a lot of personality disorders, they're trying to take from the world because they're trying to soothe pain. They don't have the giving ability because they feel like if they give, they're going to get taken advantage of, or they're going to get hurt because sometime in their life that happened to someone or that happened to them, right? So this brings me to this point, which is do not bleed on somebody that did not cut you. If you go into a new relationship, you cannot treat your new relationship like you did your ex, right? Your ex hurt you, not the new girl or the new guy, for any ladies watching. So this little diagram, it was basically talking about that. And basically it's like, you have to focus on your own energy and build your bubble, right? So you're radiating energy all the time. Okay. So I'm reading this book right now. It's called The 12 Laws of the Universe. And I will read the 12 laws to you right now. It's called the one is called the law of divine oneness. We're all connected. The law of vibration, the law of correspondence, the law of attraction, the law of inspired action, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, the law of cause and effect, law of compensation, law of relativity, law of polarity. That's why relationships need polarity, right? But that it goes beyond that, but it means relationships too. Law of rhythm and law of gender. Okay. So these are the 12 laws. And I think 3 of those laws cannot be influenced by us. A lot of the other laws can be influenced by us. For example, the law of attraction, like attracts like. You can influence your vibrational state. The law of vibration is everything is already vibrating. So this mic is vibrating at a specific energy, a specific frequency, and it's picking up my voice, right? Now, if you were to show this to somebody 200 years ago, they'd probably hang you for being, a witch, right? But that's the issue with human beings, is when there's something that you can't explain, we're very scared of it, right? Instead of just curious. Now, there are people out there that are curious human beings, and they're the ones that pioneer our society to new places. So anyway, the point is you're supposed to work on your own bubble and your own energy, the stuff you can control, okay? And when you understand those laws, I have it printed on my wall, that's why I'm pointing at it, and you understand the laws of the universe and like how to let go, right? I have a releasing flow chart on my wall too. So apathy, grief, fear, lust, anger, and pride, courage, acceptance, and peace. So look, when you are feeling hurt, right? One of the things is closed-minded people and open-minded people, right? So hurt people are usually pretty closed-minded. Where is that? Right here. Okay, so let me show you this because basically I drew this, and again, I spoke, but I fucked it up. So somebody with a closed mind looks like this. Okay. Notice how on this one, there's no lid, right? So everyone that has a closed mind still has their own beliefs, right? But they're not willing to accept new ones, not willing to accept new ways of life. They won't try new food. They won't try and listen to somebody that believes in a different religious practice than them. Closed-minded, right? Somebody so for example, there are people out there that, let's say I had to make money online program. They might say, oh, that's a scam, right? And there are definitely scams out there. I'm not going to stop that. But I see that happen a lot in that industry because people are skeptical because, again, they have a closed mind. Now, again, there are nasty people out there trying to take your money and give you absolutely no value or old information back, right? So I get that. And so I understand why people say that. But again, people are very closed-minded and they're basically have this bias for negativity. So that's the issue. So what you need to do, and so the reason why this box over here is bigger when I drew it is because you can expand your mind, right? So if this is your mind, as soon as you open this, okay, as soon as you open this box, so usually it will start actually it will normally start like this. You'll open it a little bit. So maybe you read a book that opens your mind a little bit, like Letting Go or the Sedona Method, okay? So you open your mind a little bit because you're like, okay, this guy Kyle, he knows what he's talking about when it comes to relationships and spirituality, letting go, making money, almost everything, right? So you start to do this. And then eventually, because you're healing and you're being, you're taking new information in, and you're like, okay, I really trust this guy. He's telling me to read this book. He's telling me to do this. I'm going to open my mind. And just by me simply helping you with these free videos, that's why I'm making my videos so much better, because I want to give away, for the people who can't afford the mastermind, I want to give the secrets away, right, to really how this works. And the mentorship is getting you there faster and with help and more efficient, right? More efficiently. You still have to do the work. I can't do the work for you. I'll present the information, just like this. I'll present the information to you, but I'm not going to do the work for you. I'm not going to hold your hand. It's got a little bit more hand holding, but not fully, right? So then when you open your mind, your brain will look like this. And this right here is the world, the universe, information, other people, right? And it leads down here into your brain. So this is what I have done with my life. I used to be a closed-minded individual, and then through healing and letting go, I became an open-minded individual. And because I did that, my vibration raised up. And because of that, it expanded my mindset. And because of that, I was able to have more successful relationships and make more money and become a more open person, a free person. Okay. So I know I talk about money a lot, but it's an important thing. Okay. So I drew this because that is like, the flow, the energy of the universe, the flow. So having an open mind is the key. Okay. So this all works in tandem together. Being an attractive person looks more like this. Okay. You learn everything that is here on this chart is learnable. You can learn all of this information, and you can become the best version of yourself, and your relationships will flourish. Your money will flourish. Again, that's why people in the law of attraction space talked about money flowing to you. It doesn't flow to you without you doing anything for it. Okay. You at least in the beginning, you have to still do actions to do it. Right. So you have to create value, but that's what they say, that because when you raise your vibration high enough, right? So let's say this was the chart, right? I'm not going to write it all out, but say that's where the chart is. And most people in the negative are in the negative orange or down here. And then courage starts here, because there's still a couple of green energies that are not very good here, like pride. Let's say pride ends right here, and then this is courage. When you're in a courageous state, you're willing to take risks and take actions to maybe improve your relationships or improve your money or whatever it is. So then you start participating on it here, right? And you take courageous action. So I got on YouTube, for example, right? Or maybe you're so afraid. Maybe you have money and you're so afraid to talk to a girl. Getting up into this courageous spot will get you a relationship eventually, right? So when you rise up and get here, this is when life starts working for you instead of against you. This is when you're in power versus force. Okay. So when you're in the powerful section, and then up here, like, is acceptance, courage, acceptance, peace, and love. Right. So, that's what that looks like. So courage is like this line here, but I don't know why I drew it like this, but acceptance, peace, and love. Right. So literally you can do this, and just by getting out of fear. And then this is sort of what they mean by money will start flowing for you and do that, because you're going to be in a place where you're willing to take more massive actions towards your goals. It could be, again, a relationship. It could be money. It could be whatever goal, health, right? It could be, you could be like, you know what? I'm tired of feeling tired. I'm tired of, and you get to that negative place, right? So that's kind of what that's all about. And then here is the mastermind stuff. So, it's one mastermind, but it's sort of divided up into a couple of different things. So dating, purpose, mindset, and letting go. I know this is messy as hell. Jesus, are all, and masculine values are all in one mastermind. So basically it's kind of like a life coaching thing, I guess. I hate calling it that. But because when you master this, the money, again, will work itself out, and the health will work itself out. Now these two masterminds are divided up into their own thing because they cover a vast amount of subjects. Basically the wealth section, I have, I think, like 5 or 6 different things I'm building right now in it: copywriting, YouTube money, personal branding, etc. Okay. So everything's SEO, SEO agency, social media marketing agency, like everything's going to be in there. Again, I'm building it, right? So it's going to take time for me to cover all of those subjects. It might even take me like a year. However, again, this is something I want to do for the rest of my life. So this is what all of the other stuff besides these two. So let's cut these off basically. So dating, right? Purpose, masculine values, right? Mindset. See, and that's why I said having an open mind is important, because when you have an open mind, you're open to different values, different things. Like you need to understand, like setting boundaries and stuff like that. Purpose. Okay. Having a purpose. Now, all of this is connected, and then all of this stuff will make you a more attractive person. Okay. So when you're dating, you're going to learn about what can I do to be a more attractive version of myself. So when I'm dating or I'm in a relationship long term, okay, then all you need to do is just understand a few fundamental core values and things that women are looking for. Women are generally looking for the same thing. They want strong men that they can depend on and rely on, that make them feel safe and comfortable and are fun. Okay. And it's not hard to do that when you are at the peak, right? Or developing your peak masculine. So when you are in the right mindset and you're around other people who are on that same journey as you, and of course there's me at your fingertips. That's why this is so powerful. But it all begins with obviously mindset and letting go. When you let go, that's when you can really make some strides in your life, and you can do this here, right? So you can understand that when you raise up your vibration level and you're jumping into courage and you're becoming a more more fearless version of yourself, then you're going to be willing to take on more things. And the truth is, guys, you're at where you are in life because you deserve it. I hate to say it to you. Everyone, some people are dealt a bad hand. Okay, great. But overcoming it is on you. Okay. And that's why I'm offering a mastermind. I want to work with people who are committed. I'm tired of working with people that they say for 2 months they'll be cool and committed, gone, right? And I'll check in with them and say, hey, have you read that book? Have you done this? So I understand reading a book takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of time. Life is a thing. So one of my plans for the mastermind, the big version of the mastermind, the other two are going to be different servers on Discord, but basically, where I want to add a whole category where it's just book summaries. So I'm going to cut out all of the fluff and the fat out of the books and give you the golden nuggets of the book. However, if the book is so good, you just got to read the fucking thing. So anyway, that's how you get and rise up your vibration levels, and you get to the next level. And then the cool thing is, and I've done this in my personal life outside of this, when you're part of masterminds, like I'm part of other masterminds myself, you meet people who are like you on the same journey as you, and say one of you guys starts making quite a bit of cash. Well, then you work together on your next project, right? And when you work together on your next project, you guys can go raise capital for it, or you can take on an investor, or you can invest in each other's stuff and have a little group of people who are working. And again, because you have access to me, you might ask me, hey, do you think this is a good idea, Kyle? We're working on this together. Or maybe you guys can work on it with me, somebody who's an expert in creating value, right? So again, I know this is disgustingly messy. For my next slide, I'm going to have this mastermind always in every single video, because it's something that I'm obviously promoting. Because again, one-off coaching just it's not for me anymore. I definitely want to do, if it is, it's going to be way more expensive. And I don't want to work with people for an hour. I want to work with people for several months to a year to really impact their change. So that's where the mastermind comes in, and you learn about all of these lessons, and you learn about how to, because again, you'll make 5 to 7 year lengthy goals that would take you 5 to 7 years to get to on your own. You'll have it done in a year and a half, right? On your own. With us. Now, again, it's not it's not done. It's not completely done. So because of that, I'm doing it at a discount right now. But when it is finished, at least the self-improvement version, not like minus the health and the wealth part, it'll be pricey. And I want it that way because, again, I only want to work with the most committed people. So there will be a payment plan for people who really are committed and they're just in a broke state right now, or they're trying. But that's what it's for. So if you guys have any questions, I want you to email me it's in the description box, but if you guys are listening to this or whatever, it's masculine energy. Okay. 27 at gmail.com. I'm going to come up with a better email so you guys can do that, but it's masculine energy with 2 E's. Okay. So remember, don't leave out the second E. So masculine energy 27 at gmail.com. Again, it's in the description box down below, and you're going to see a much cleaner description box. It doesn't have all the books in there anymore. It doesn't have, like you can join my email list, and I think you should, because I'm going to be growing it and stuff like that. But guys, this is it right here. Okay, this is what I want to work on, and if you guys are interested, I can really help you. I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope all this made sense. Leave a comment down below for me, and let me know if there's something you would really like me to cover that I haven't really dove deep into like this. Okay, because again, so a lot of people ask me about no contact, right? Well, no contact is just a tool. What should you do during no contact, right? And a lot of people have the same questions. So again, in my mastermind, there's a no contact frequently asked questions in there, and it's basically for people who want to go straight to the info. But right now, since it's not finished, I'm going to be doing more calls on there. So, anywho, see you guys later.